Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to Commodity TV and a new edition of our virtual interview series. And you know, lithium is hot, the lithium universe and the space is hot. And we have for the first time Alpha Lithium here with us with the CEO, Brad Nichol. Good morning to Calgary. How are you doing, Brad?
Very good. Thank you very much.
Yeah, thanks for taking the time. Very interesting company, I must say, and happy that you really take the time for us. Can you please give us a short overview on your company in 3-4 sentences?
Yeah, we Alpha Lithium is a lithium brine mining company. We're located in northern Argentina, right in the lithium triangle between Bolivia, Chile, and Argentina. We have two assets. Hombre Muerto is kind of the call it higher quality, higher lithium concentration asset. We have 5,000 hectares there. And then we have another asset, which many of your listeners will have read about in a recent press release. It's called Tolillar. Some very exciting news there. And although the lithium grades are lower than they are in Hombre Muerto, which is just 10 kilometers away, it's a very solid salar. It will be a producing salar. We're really excited about that, and we'll talk about that, I'm sure.
Absolutely. That's exactly my next question, because congratulations, you got a great company, Uranium One, as a partner here. They invested, I think it was $30 million into your company for 15% ownership. And they really have also the right for additional earn-in. So let's start with those $30 million. How did that come? I mean, that's great for a company your size.
Yeah, well, the first thing is they did not invest it into the company. They invested it into the project. So it's a non-dilutive event. The money is going right into the project. They don't have ownership over the company. They just have ownership over that one asset that we have.
Okay.
So, but you know, we started talking to them several months ago. I was a bit reluctant at first. I don't have a problem saying that, simply because they're a new team. Sure, it's a big company, but they didn't have much experience in lithium. But as I got to know the team, I realized just how serious they were about lithium. I got to know management. Obviously, they're committed to migrating their business from uranium into lithium. I'm not saying they're going to abandon uranium, but it's not my company, not my place to say necessarily. What I do know and what I can say, they're incredibly dedicated to growing the lithium part of their business. They have a massive budget that is specifically focused on lithium. They're building a team, very educated. I have a lot of respect for the people that I met, very serious. So it turned into what is now going to be a fantastic partnership.
Okay, super. That's fantastic. Great. As you want to go definitely into commercial production, when I read through your news release with Uranium One, that should be really possible, because it looks to me like if they do the second stage of the earn-in, you are financed for production, right?
It's a great point, and it's absolutely the point. To date, we have spent just under $5 million on Tolillar Salar. That's $5 million of our company's money. And ultimately, we will own 50% of the salar, which will be producing. And we will have only spent $5 million of our money. So a little bit on the structure, the $30 million that goes in, we manage that. We control the board of the subsidiary or the joint venture that we've set up. So we control management, the board, we control all the operations. They're simply funding up to $30 million worth. This is US dollars, by the way. So they're funding right up to the production of a feasibility study. It means we will have to build a camp, 400-person camp, which we're going to do. There's a little more drilling to do on the salar. There's maybe some more seismic to do. The area is full of infrastructure. We'll have to make sure we have agreements in place for natural gas and for power, electricity, fresh water. All of these things are available because we're so close to Hombre Muerto, which has been producing for 25 years. We're only 10 kilometers away. All of this infrastructure exists. And so that's what we're doing with the first 30 million, is getting it to the point where we've got all of these things in place. We will have built a resource estimate. We will have built a pilot plant. And all of that will feed into a feasibility study. And 30 months from the date of signing, which is scheduled for January 31st, we will produce a feasibility study, and they will have a decision to make. Do they go forward and invest another 185 million into the project or not? Our assumption, based on what we know and see today, is that of course they will. And that will then take it from a feasibility study into a full-fledged modular production facility.
So modular production facility, that was also something which catched my interest, because you want to start like with 10,000 tons of LCE per year, right? And I mean, we can talk or speculate about production costs, but we both know with a Salar, with brines, the production cost is not that high what the lithium price is today. So you will make a lot of money with that. So is then the idea probably to say, you know what, with that positive cash flow we are having, we can build then, let's say in year 3 or 4, another module with 10,000 tons LCE.
So the modular component of the production facility is important, because when Uranium One first approached me, it was quite early on in the process, and there was a lot of information that just wasn't known. The data didn't yet exist because we hadn't yet drilled a lot, and we didn't have a lot of information yet on the Salar and the chemistry. So what we decided early on was that modular was a great way to start, and with a small number. Because there were so many unknowns, we'll learn that information as we go along over the next 30 months. But ultimately, a modular facility is going to be able to be expanded very easily, and we can expand that with cash flow that we're generating from the first module. We can invest more equity, we can put debt into the entity, but we can grow this piece by piece, and we can grow as we learn about the Salar in the future.
Yeah, I mean, this is also like a low risk business then, I would say.
Exactly. We could have announced a 30 or 40,000 ton per year plant, but it didn't make sense given what we knew at the time. So I really like the approach.
Okay, fantastic. As you are anyhow in elephant territory, I saw the map in your presentation, and you have all those big boys around you. Millennium Lithium is also just taken over now. And if we can speculate a little bit, and I know it's way too early, forward-looking statement for the regulators, but can you give us an idea about a possible capex for such a modular start with 10,000 LCE? And if I look, let's say, at the numbers of Millennium, below $4,000 all-in costs in the production for a ton LCE, probably that would match you guys around that also, right?
Yeah, and as always, we're hoping to well, not just beat Millennium, but come in at sub $4,000 per ton. But again, it's early. We don't know these answers yet. We haven't built a pilot plant yet. That will give us a lot of the answers that will feed into the feasibility study. So, but yeah, I think it's safe to say that ultimately we want to build a plant that is expandable. We're surrounded by multi-billion-dollar assets in the Salar. Millennium is a great example. They're just to the north of us, and that's how we want to grow.
Okay, super. Let's come to your second project, Hombre Muerto. How does it look like? You said it's only 10 kilometers away, and probably you can also give us some ideas on permitting, because I can imagine if you want to bring that also in production, permitting would be the same like for Tolillar, right?
Yeah, exactly. We're sharing the Salar in Hombre Muerto. So Hombre Muerto for me, and not just for me, I think for many people, Hombre Muerto is the best lithium salar in the world in which to operate. I don't make that statement lightly. You know, everybody's going to say, oh, well, you've got Atacama in Chile. But the problem with Chile is political, it's environmental. You have lots of problems with local communities that have a lot of power. And in Argentina, it's not like that. There aren't any local communities around. And certainly in Hombre Muerto, there's a fantastic history of drilling. POSCO, who will be our next door neighbor, who currently is our next door neighbor, has a close to $1 billion drilling budget for their property. We are we're right on the edges of POSCO. We've been picking away for a while and acquiring land and building our position. So we have a great idea of what we're going to get, and I'll say right now that we expect between 600 and 1,000 milligrams per liter is what we're going to find. So Galan just released some results, the results of a new PEA study that gave them a $1.2 billion valuation on their worst assets in Hombre Muerto, which are at about 600 milligrams per liter. So, it can easily be done. We're very, very excited about it. And to answer your question about permitting, we have, I'll just say, full support and full confidence that all of the permits will be received. And a lot of that comes from our team in Argentina. David Guerrero is our country manager. And this is really worth mentioning, and I'm sorry if I'm wandering off topic here a little bit, but
No.
David was born and raised in Salta. He grew up there. This is the town of Salta in the province of Salta.
Wow.
And it's kind of like Lithium headquarters in Argentina. Well, that's where he was born and raised, but he went on to work for Rio Tinto and conquered the world, so to speak. So he's international. His English is fantastic and perfect, I would say, but he's also local, so he can get everything locally done that needs to get done, and that's whether that's a permit or we need a drilling rig or a water truck has broken down. He knows just who to call and just how to get the job done. So especially during COVID, when I couldn't travel down there or there wasn't a lot of movement, he was there, and that's how we were able to get so much done in Tolillar over the last year or two while we were battling with COVID.
Fantastic, and I think it's also super important to understand the culture.
Definitely,
of the people.
Definitely. And David is not just local and not just obviously he understands the culture. It's a part of him. David was one of the key members at Galaxy, and he helped orchestrate the sale to POSCO of the Galaxy assets in Hombre Muerto. So he's not just comfortable and local and understanding the local culture. He's comfortable sitting in the boardroom of a very large Australian or Korean entity and convincing them that this is the deal to do and working through the details of that. So he's an international man of mystery, and he's a local man of doing. He can get things done. It's fantastic.
Super. That's exactly what you need. Work with professionals. I love that. Super. What is cash in the company? Who are your main shareholders, and what is management share in the company?
So we are, at the same time that all of this is happening, we were approached to do a bought deal, and so we are on the verge of closing. I'll call it a $25 million bought deal. It's at current, we've only announced 21.5 million at the moment, but we're going to be closing it very, very soon. In fact, by the time I think your viewers see this, we will probably have closed a $25 million bought deal, and that will land us or result in about $45 million of cash in the company. The nice thing about that bought deal, we did another 20 million or just over $20 million bought deal in the spring, and that introduced us to some fantastic long mining focused funds from all over the world, not just Canadian or US, but several funds in Europe, one or two in Australia. There was one in Hong Kong. So that was I'll say our first introduction to some very, very big names. Well, this latest bought deal that we're going to close here almost immediately is just a step up. We've seen some of the biggest funds in the world that took an interest in us and approached us to do this bought deal. So pretty excited about that. We now have, I'm going to say, approximately 20 of the world's biggest funds, all long. We didn't have any short funds, I would say, that like to play games with your stock and hedge funds and that kind of thing. So we're really, really excited about some of the investors, and I tell you, this past week I've had some fantastic phone calls with some of them as well.
I can imagine. Absolutely. Super. Again, congratulations on that. That's really, really great what you guys have achieved in the last 2 years. That's amazing. Where do you see your company in 3 years?
3 years from now, it's so exciting, because what we've really established is in Tolillar, we have a massive, the 800-pound gorilla as a partner, as a long-term partner. They want to learn with us. They want to help us develop different technologies. They want to apply and anything that they can bring to the table, they want to bring to the table. But at the same time, they've said, no, we'll watch. That's why they're not operating. That's why they don't control the board. So they want to observe and learn. And so what we're going to do with that approach is build Tolillar into a base for the company. The valuation today, if you look at the numbers, so by putting in $30 million to get 15%, that equates to a $200 million US dollar value just for Tolillar, which today's price is about $2 a share. Equivalent just for Tolillar. Doesn't include any value for the cash, doesn't include any value for Hombre Muerto. And so with that as our base, and we'll be developing that and working on the feasibility study, the pilot plant, the access to all of the infrastructure, we can then focus all of our efforts and our cash on Hombre Muerto, because we don't have to put another penny into Tolillar. That's what Uranium One will do. So we can focus everything on Hombre Muerto. Obviously, we're going to start drilling there as quickly as we can. I think that would likely be January or maybe February of 2022. We will drill to our heart's content with $45 million in the bank. I think we'll be, that's a good starting budget for drilling. And I think what we'll end up doing very quickly in Hombre Muerto is moving to a pilot plant. And that will start to give us the data and the information that we need in order to think about the future, which would be production. So 3 years from now, I think we will see that Tolillar is effectively on the verge of production. And I see in Hombre Muerto, we will add to the land base, we will drill, and we will have the results of a pilot plant study that will feed into a feasibility study, which at that point, maybe we keep it ourselves, maybe we bring in a partner, remains to be seen. But that's what I think where we'll be in 3 years.
Yeah, maybe you're taken over for a super high price. That's also possible. We never know. Super. Yeah, I mean, Brad, thank you very much. That was really exciting. And again, congratulations. Well done. Well played so far. And I have a very good feeling that we talk quite soon.
Excellent. Thank you very much for the time.
Super. Thank you very much. Yeah, ladies and gentlemen, that was Commodity TV for you with Alpha Lithium and Brad Nichol, the CEO. Yeah, you heard it. The big 800-pound gorilla starts to invest really into the project, not into the company. And that values the company already at $2 a share without really regarding the second project, Hombre Muertos, or even the cash level. They have $45 million in the bank, the who is who of international funds as shareholders. What else do you want? Lithium is hot. We need lithium for the e-mobility. There's no doubt. So check out this fantastic company. Thanks for watching us, and bye-bye from Switzerland.